Things I wish I knew before I had kids. One thing I will say about motherhood, it's definitely a mirror and it shows your weak spots. Hey Love Tribe, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here and you're looking to thrive, make sure you subscribe to join the tribe and show me some love by clicking that like button. Let's transform our lives together. So today it's just gonna be a different video from my usual. Usually I do vlogs, but you know what, I wanted to have a little mommy chit chat with y'all. Okay, so I have two beautiful daughters, 1 5, 1 8. Let me tell you, it's been quite a journey. So there is so much about motherhood that I've learned. Okay, so number one, motherhood is a mirror. Both of my daughters are literally different versions of me. Whatever you teach your kids, it's just a reflection of your parents. And I'm not gonna say every single thing is your fault, but maybe they could have got it from their other parent. Kids do pick things up from other kids, their other parents. It can be a variety of things. You know what came from you and what didn't come from you. One thing I will say about motherhood, it's definitely a mirror and it shows your weak spots when it comes to how your kids are doing in school. If that's just a moment to take a look and be like, okay, so how much time am I spending with my child after school? Are we reading? Are we going over numbers? Are we doing flashcards? How much time do we take for homework? Do we study even when there is no homework? There's different things that determines how well your child does when they're in school. Also, I realized with motherhood, you definitely need a village, okay? My mom had 3 kids. And I remember my mindset when I was pregnant with my first daughter. I was 23 years old. I didn't realize how young I was. I just had a mentality like, if my mom could take care of 3 kids, I could take care of my 1 kid.
No.
I got my own place, car, job. I could take care of my own kid. But I didn't know what all it came with. Like, of course, as a kid, it looked like it can be done, which was not a good mindset to have. But I didn't realize the importance of having a village, like having a support system. Once I had my kids and once it was time to go to work, I wanted to go back to school. I wanted to do all these things. And it was not easy at all. Even to feed them and do what you needed to do, it was not easy. I mean, I was a single mom. I did have some support, but it takes a village. Like, your support needs some support as well. Like, because people get burned out. Like, you have a kid, you can think, oh, so-and-so said that, watch them or whatever. They need a break too. I remember picking my kids up, even picking my first daughter up. People will be so tired. So subconsciously, like, I felt bad, so that's why I realized like the importance of a village. It also makes you feel like a burden. It feels like you're putting your burdens on other people. Even if people are like more than happy to help you with your kids, it still feels like, you're leaving a burden on somebody else. And I already know in the comments, people are going to say, oh, well, that's why you make sure you get married. And, oh, you make sure, you have a reliable partner. Sometimes that does work for everybody. Like, sometimes the setup is good, but then life happens. Like, sometimes people pass away, all kinds of things. Relationships don't last, marriages end, whatever. So before y'all get crazy in the comments, make sure y'all judge. Not even judge, because you can't judge me, but make sure, you make a full analysis on the situation. Because if it was that easy, everybody would have somebody and everybody would come from a unbroken home. Like, it's not that easy. So anyways, long story short, you need a village. Like I said, I was in my early 20s. And I think this is why it's so important that, like, whoever you're dating, whoever you marry, whoever you have kids with, like, it's very important to, if you don't have a good relationship with your side of the family, make sure you have a good relationship with your spouse's side of the family, because like that's going to be your immediate support. And even if you can't depend on them, like, you want to make sure you can afford a nanny, a babysitter, plan A babysitter, plan B, plan C. Because it's been so many times that I've had to call off of work because I don't have a babysitter. you know, that's even more stress for you because it's like you're trying to take care of your kid, but then it gets hard because you can't go to work. It's just so frustrating. It's literally like a cycle. It's so crazy. But the older they get, the easier it kind of gets. But anyways, I've learned that, at least for me, and I think for a lot of moms too. Let me know in the comments if this is you. But it's like you're fighting an ongoing battle of not losing yourselves. I know so many moms who, you know, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but their whole identity, I'm gonna just say this, their whole identity is surrounded by their kids. And by the time their kids become adults, it's like they have an identity crisis. They don't know who they are. They feel like they don't have a purpose if they're not taking care of their kids. And honey, I don't want that to be me. Like, let me know in the comments if that's something that you struggle with. No judgment. But honey, I don't want that to be me, because I know for a fact my kids are gonna grow up and they're gonna live their own lives, and I don't want to be scrambling trying to figure out who Jasmine is and like trying to find my hobbies and, you know, just stuff like that. And I don't want to be heartbroken because I have an empty nest. Once you have your first child, there's so much going on. Like, your hormones are up and down. You're so emotional. You have to tend to the baby's needs. You don't get rest like that. You're still healing from giving birth. Some of your clothes might not fit the same. Your body is definitely not the same once you have a baby. Let me tell you. I don't care if you get surgery, it's never going to be the same. My love tribe, they already know your girl had liposurgery, and we'll talk about the results in another video. My 6 months is coming up next month in August. P.S. I'm loving my results. My body is still not the same. Like, I still have a mom body. Of course, it looks good. Like, I'm happy with it now, but it's not like before I had kids. You know, it took a lot for me to get here, and it's going to take a lot for me to keep it. If y'all haven't seen that video already, make sure y'all go ahead and check that out. I'm gonna leave a card right here so y'all can check that out. If your body will never be the same, okay? I'm not trying to discourage you from becoming a mom. I'm just letting you know what I wish I knew before I became a mom. So yeah, so your body will never be the same. And even after 2 kids, so I got lucky because after the first one, I kind of like snapped back. My shape and everything was still very nice. The second one, I was done for, honey. The second one was okay. It just started to become very easy to gain weight. Like, very, very, very easy. And so that's why I was just like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna just stop right here. It does help to stretch as well, especially like if you're in your 30s. Make sure you stretch and make sure you take care of your body. Let's get into the next one. This is something else that I wish I knew before having kids. I did not know that so many people will feel obligated to be in your business. Let me explain. Like, first of all, being that you have kids, at least from my experience, it's like people will, like, not anymore because I kind of like shut it down. But before, people would call. Hey, how are the kids? Like, not even asking how I'm doing. They'll just be like, hey, how are the kids? What the kids doing? Let me talk to the kids. Like, like that kind of, I'm a person too. Like, I'm a human too. I have feelings. I'm taking care of these kids. But everybody just want to know about the kids. And that's fine. That's so fine. But I just think at least ask how I'm doing first. Like, that's how I'm doing. Even if you don't care, just make it seem like you at least care. Just make it seem like you care. They always want to have something to say about what you're doing as far as like how you take care of your kids. Like, I remember I'm not going to say any names, but I'm going to say family member of mine. This family member was telling me something so small as like how to wipe my baby's nose. I know how to wipe a nose. Like, come on. And I don't know, maybe it's me, but when it comes to certain things, especially if it's my kids, don't tell me anything. Unless I'm doing something absolutely wrong, don't tell me anything. Like, let me, you know, raise my kids how I want to raise my kids. You know, nobody's perfect. Everybody's living life for the first time here. So it's just like, I don't know, maybe that's my problem. I don't like nobody telling me nothing. Let me know in the comments if you're like that, but don't tell me how to do nothing. Don't tell me. And this is not even for the first kid. This was for the second. It's just so annoying. Basically, people are always going to have something to say about what you're doing, how you're doing it, why you should do this instead, why you should try this instead. Like, even if you already know, and it seems like no matter how many kids you have, people always want to put their 2 cents in on, you know, what you do for your kids. If you don't know by now, I'm a millennial mom. I mean, I've been seeing on social media that the kids these days, which is Generation Alpha and I think a little bit of Gen Z, they're saying that the kids these days are undisciplined, I guess, which I feel like I grew up with a lot of kids that were bad. Like, it's not just our generation, because, you know, we're the parents, right? I think we're like in our late 20s, 30s and 40s. Now they're saying like the kids these days are not well behaved and so on and so forth. But I remember growing up with some clowns, okay? I remember growing up with some bad kids. I remember a lot. It's not just because of the millennials. But I will say, the moms that I do know, it's like we are more conservative when it comes to discipline. Like, when I grew up, I used to get whoopings, right? I used to get whipped with a belt. I don't whip my kids. I don't really spank my kids. Because I feel like one thing that the last generation, which is Generation X. I feel like in Generation X, they lack communication. They don't know how to communicate with their kids. And that's why a lot of millennials, it's like we retaliate we try to do things differently with our kids. Like, things that I used to get beat for, you know, I don't act like that towards my kids. They didn't really talk to their kids. I'm very open to my kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm an open book to my kids because now that I'm an adult, I see like, okay, a lot of things I could have learned if, you know, my parents were more, if they communicated more, basically. But they didn't know how to communicate. All they knew is, I'm the mom, so do this, boom, don't ask no questions, and that's that. Like, that was their mentality. And now they wonder why, you know, their kids, aka us millennials and Gen Z, we do things differently. Some people, they have some resentment towards their parents because their parents didn't talk to them. They just beat them. Especially, I'm gonna say this in the African American community, it was like whooping first, ask questions later. But they don't understand why, you know, their kids have resentment towards them because you didn't talk. And now that we're adults, now you want to talk? Like, anyways, that's for a whole nother video. My kids, they don't even get disciplined as much as I used to get. Like, not even 50%. Like, they don't get disciplined. Not at all. Like, I try my best to, like, talk to them and disciplining them. They don't get the same type of discipline. I'm gonna just put it that way. Like, I just feel like we're different. I feel like I'm different. And then I do feel like when you don't handle your kids the way that the older generation is used to seeing kids being handled, then it's like you're the problem. But at the same time, it's just like people will try and test your motherhood, and it's just like, please don't go there. Please don't go there, because if I put you in your place, you're not gonna like it. You already raised your kids, now move on. Carry on. Now, unless I'm doing something like totally wrong. Like, I can tell, I'm a person who can take constructive criticism. I really can. And, you know, if it's not constructive, I don't want to hear what you have to say. Next. Those are just a few things that come to my mind. I mean, I've learned so much. And honestly, I didn't even prepare for this video. I kind of just said, you know what? Let me talk to my people about just what I've learned so far on this journey. And like I said, my kids are 5 and 8. And do I see myself having any more kids? No, I don't. And I think we're good with the 2. I think we're good with just us. I have 2 girls. They're very unique, very special, very sweet, very smart. Like, I don't I will say this, the more kids you have, the more you spread yourself thin. So it's easier to have one child, pour all into that child. And if you have two kids, for some reason, when both of my kids are together, feels like I got 4 kids because, you know, it's so many different emotions. I think that's it for my mommy chat for today. Let me know in the comments below if you can relate to anything that I said. And what has your motherhood experience been like? What are some things that you learned from motherhood? I think that's it for today, guys. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Join the Love Tribe. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Join the Love Tribe. And I'm out.